if your child's going to be sexually active, they're going to be sexually active regardless. What you want to do is make sure they're protected.
Yeah.
That's being a responsible parent.
Teachers, we speak about the way we deliver sex education to these kids. Do you think it's too mundane? It's like all doom and gloom? Because when we were kids, we used to watch sex education, and it was quite like, you know, you see women pushing out babies, almost like they're trying to put us off sex. What do you think the schools need to do to make it more to appeal to?
Well, everything is age appropriate. That's first and foremost, like age appropriate. So, like you said, sex education is different in primary school to is in secondary school. It's like something you don't need to learn about necessarily right now. In terms of how, like, school was a long time ago. I don't know how it's taught now. I don't know if it's the same as how it was taught when I was at school. But like I said, I just remember kind of like being taught how to put a condom on.
Yeah.
And I think watching a video of like a woman giving birth, that was the extent of it. And it was a bit like you said, there's so much more to sex than that. You're just kind of saying, in my mind, what you were saying is like, have sex and it's not protected. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have a baby. Which is, but that's not just within schools. That's a lot of people's parents' scare tactic. If you think about growing up, it's just like, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant or you'll get an STD. It's like, that's not educating your children about sex. Educating your children about sex is saying, look, like for instance, when I lost my virginity, I told my mum was the first person I told. That's how
on that day.
I think it was a couple of days after.
Okay.
But that's how open my relationship with my mum is. That I was comfortable enough to be able to tell her that. But that's because growing up, obviously age appropriate, she had them conversations with me. She was like, scare tactic doesn't work. Yeah, like you're not inciting fear in them. You're just going, don't do this because this is going to happen. Children are inquisitive. They're going to go and do what they want to do regardless. Do you see what I'm saying? Someone was like, what I need to do as a parent is teach you. It's my job to inform you about sex, or as much of sex that I know about. And if I don't know, I'm going to go and learn and come back if you've got a question that I don't know the answer to. So, because I had that relationship growing up, I had conversations about sex with my mum and stuff like that. When I lost my virginity, it was nothing for me to tell my mum I'd lost my virginity. Her first question was like, are you on contraception? That's another thing. A lot of parents wouldn't dare they don't want to have that conversation because they feel like what they're doing is encouraging you to be sexually active. You're not encouraging children. This is what you need to understand. If your child's going to be sexually active, they're going to be sexually active regardless. What you want to do is make sure they're protected. That's being a responsible parent. You need to take out of the whole, I don't want them to be doing this, and go, okay, this is their life, they are doing it. What am I going to do now to help them? So things like contraception, things like making sure you know to go to the clinic to get checked. All of this stuff is key. Because like you said, what happens then is kids are going out doing what they want to do. They're scared to come and tell their parents, and they end up in a situation where they're being they're pregnant. They're pregnant because they don't know what contraception is. They didn't. God forbid they go and ask someone to put them on contraception because they know the response they're going to be met with. You're having sex. Da, 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 da. It's going to be. It's like. Well, that's not how you. That's not how you teach your kids.
Do you think your mum did a better job at teaching you about sex than the school did?
Of course she did. Like I said, we know what the school curriculum is. It's not a load of bollocks, but it's a basic. It's literally basic. That's literally what I remember is being taught how to put a condom on and watching about baby obviously learn about your genitals and stuff. That was the extent of sex education, which is absolutely ridiculous because there's so much more to it than that. Like I said, we're talking about schooling. The curriculum on a whole needs a complete overhaul. On a whole it needs. But if we're talking about sex education, that also, of course, it does. They need to be learning about every aspect of sex. Like you should have pamphlets about clinics. You should be teaching girls about contraception. All of these things. Feel like what happens that when you start having sex, you as a woman, like your feelings and your emotions change. That's something as well that you don't speak about. It's not just you laying down and it's a physical act. It's so much more than that. You as a female change when you have sex. Your body changes when you have sex. You know, things like your periods, things like discharge, all of that stuff needs to be taught in schools. Like I said, it needs to be normalised because these girls are going through this stuff and they don't know what to do because they don't feel like they've got anyone they can talk to. That's what I'm saying. But really, again, your parents play a major factor. Like they are as responsible to educate you. Actually, even more so than the school is. You're their child. That's their job. That's their job to educate you. It's nobody else's.
At what age do you think like parents should be talking to their kids about sex?
Like I said,
Because I think like some parents are scared to do it too early.
Yeah, like I said, that's why it's age appropriate. So it's like, so for instance, I got my period very young. I was in primary school when I got my period. Yeah. So I was having conversations with my mum about stuff like that because of she had to tell me I didn't know what a period was. She needed to say that this is what a woman's body goes through. So when I got my period, like, I went to my teacher, I said I got my period. They said, how do you know? I said, because I know what a period is. My mum taught me what a period is. You know, stuff like that. So it's like where I was having them conversations, where I developed very early, them conversations were the norm for me. But I think if you're talking about just, you know, generally like what age do you talk about sex with your kid, I mean, when they hit puberty, I'd say, which is kind of early secondary school, isn't it? Year 7, year 8. When puberty kicks in, of course you need to have them conversations.
It's funny you say that, because we were here, we spoke on our podcast, and you know, Carl's wife was, you know, asking us how important it is for parents to step in, because a majority of parents don't speak to us, and we weren't spoken to. My mum didn't talk to me about sex.
And what's your background?
Ghanaian.
Caribbean.
It's within the black community. Like I said, they feel like if they speak about it, they're encouraging it. It's like you're not encouraging it, you're educating your kids. And actually what you're doing in the long term is preventing things like I said, teenage pregnancy, things like catching, like, let's be honest, STIs, chlamydia, left untreated, women can become infertile, HIV, AIDS, it's just like, this stuff is raw and it's out there. Like, you know what, if you want to bury your head in the sand as a parent and go, I want to turn a blind eye, I don't want to believe my child's doing that, when that comes knocking at your door, who have you got to blame but yourself, because you haven't educated them. Oh, that's what I said, it's your job to educate them. Nobody else is like, yeah, you send your kids to school to learn, but like, learning and educating is very different. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's mad stuff.
Very, very different. So yeah, it starts in the household, man. And like I said, I think our generation will change that. Like you said, like growing up and stuff. Not myself, but when I speak to all my friends, like, they couldn't speak to their parents about sex. But now, like you said, with how we are evolving as a generation and how we are more open talking about sex and feeling more comfortable, then we will hopefully then be that with our children. Do you see what I'm saying?